Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you to our third Application Prospect 2030 workshops. A huge thanks to Regione Piemonte and Silvio for organizing today's session on financing energy efficiency. I hope you will all enjoy our prepared presentation by our speakers. And I hope we will have fruitful discussion after the session, after the presentations. And I give the floor to our first speaker, Károly Oelberg, who will give us an overview of the use of ERDF in Europe and the recommendation and upcoming opportunities from the renovation wave. Károly, if you can.
Thank you very much, Żaneta. I'm trying to share my presentation.
I can see something, yes.
Is it visible for everyone? Okay. Thank you. So, thank you very much for inviting me, Silvio and Żaneta, to provide this presentation. Żaneta, can you remind me, please, if I overflow the time?
Yes, of course. I can give you.
Thank you very much. What I would like to talk about is first to give we are in the beginning of a new EU programming period, and we are also affected by the COVID pandemic. And this is a start of a new planning period. So first, I would like to provide the overall context of the EU programming mechanisms and about priorities, financial provisions. And then I would like to touch upon the cohesion policy, which is financed by the European Regional Development Fund and the Cohesion Fund. It's under one cohesive umbrella. So I would also touch upon some other EU initiatives, and I would also like to give some details about the other facility which has been set up within the context of the fight against or overcome the burdens caused by the coronavirus pandemic. So as normal in the as we are used to in the EU, there is multi-annual planning. Over the last couple of periods, we were the European planning encompassed 7 years, a 7-year period, which have just finished the 2014-2020 period, and the preparation is of the new programming period is under way, and this will cover 2021-27 period, and the basic decisions of financial framework have already been done, completed, and this 7-year program, which is called multi-annual financial framework, is complemented now due to the COVID pandemic with another instrument, which is called New Generation EU. This instrument covers a 3-year period. But in total, starting with 2021, the European budget will the European Union will earmark a total budget of almost 1.8 billion euros for the next coming few years. And I would here mention right away that, which is closely related to our topic, that one of the key provisions is that the total expenditure, 30% of the total expenditure should be used to address the climate issues. What are the focus areas of the multi-annual financial framework? There are these focus areas in this programming period are called headings, and we are addressing 7 headings. The internal market cohesion, which has two subheadings. One is the economic, social and territorial cohesion, and the other one is the resilience and the European values. This is mostly where our interest lies with, but there are some other headings like natural resources and environment, where we find, and also in the neighborhood policy, where we find our topics, renewables, energy efficiency, etc. I mean, in an implicit way, we are able to identify. For the multi-annual financial framework, the total commitment is 1,074 million. No, sorry, 1,074 billion euros, and we can see heading by heading in this chart, in this table, what is the relative share of the allocation of funding between headings. And what we can immediately conclude that basically heading number 2 and heading number 3, cohesion and natural resources, account for almost 70% of the total funding. That's a little bit looking back to the past, how the focus areas of the multi-annual programming have changed. We can see that this table summarizes 3 programming periods, 3 7-year programming periods, and here we can see that the relative importance of competitiveness, including SMEs, research and innovation, infrastructure development, has drastically grown. The common agricultural policy, the funding for the common agricultural policy has declined, and what is it's a punching figure is that the security issues have dramatically increased, and also positioning the EU in the world foreign policy has substantially increased. Within the European policies, I would specifically touch upon the cohesion policy, which covers regional development and cohesion. And here I listed the specific policy objectives of there is one cohesive framework for regional development and cohesion policy, and to a large extent the cohesion policy includes the decentralized fundings which are to be implemented under the competence of the member states. The priorities or specific objectives, we have five specific objectives, and most of the funding, 75 to 85% of the ERDF funding and cohesion funding will be focused on the two first policy objective areas. Smart Europe assumes enhancing the research and innovation capacities, and assuming and taking uptake of advanced technologies, digitalization, development of small and medium-sized enterprises, and smart specializations, industrial transition, and promotion of entrepreneurship. The second priority aims promoting energy efficiency, very much our area of interest, promoting renewable energies, developing of smart energy systems, grids, storage at local level, climate change adaptation, risk prevention and disaster resilience, sustainable water management, circular economy, biodiversity, green infrastructure, development of the urban environment. So as said, to a large extent, depending on the economic performance of the member states, 65 to 85% of the funding will be focused on these two areas. The other priorities are the more connected Europe, which means in details digital connectivity, means intelligent and intermodal development of the trans-European network, trans-European transport network, cross-border mobility, and also multimodal development, sustainable multimodality in urban environment. More social Europe is focused on labor market development. I don't go too much into detail. Education, training, marginalized communities, people, migrants, and also the development of the healthcare system. And finally, can you hear me? Sorry. Is it? Do you hear me?
Yes, you can go on.
Yes, okay. Okay, sorry. There was some strange noises. And then the last priority is to bring closer citizens to Europe, or bring citizens together, social inclusion, economic development, cultural heritage issues, and other community initiatives. The country allocation, these are the decentralized funding, so I think it's well known to everyone that the European budget has two main baskets, or 28 main baskets. One basket is what the European Commission is responsible with its implementing agencies, and there are 27 individual baskets for member states for decentralized funding, which are to be programmed, designed, implemented, and evaluated at the member states level. These figures exist for all 27 member states. We are no longer speaking about Great Britain, obviously, and in this table, I just provided the figures for our Prospect 2030 partner countries. There are other relevant initiatives, I mean relevant for us, for our consortium, and for our partners, for our replication partners as well. I don't want to go too much into details, just would like to note that the Horizon Europe, the former Horizon 2020 program, is the continuation of the former Horizon 2020 program, but there are some reorganizations and some elements have been transferred under the LIFE program. The LIFE program is the longest EU program, started in 1992. There's a new financial facility. There will be a presentation about that later, so I don't go into details. And then there are joint actions with international financial institutions, and I particularly underline the ELENA program, which is energy efficiency, and which involves energy efficiency and renewable development for local communities. And as said before, within the context of the recovery from the COVID pandemic, the EU initiated a new instrument, which is called Next Generation Europe, the Next Generation EU. It consists of 7 different programs, and it is split. The total budget is 750 billion euros, of which 360 billion euros are loan, and the rest are grant for the mostly for the direct use of the by the member states. As I said or mentioned before, this program will end at the end of 2023, and for the disbursement period, as always, disbursement period overruns with 3 years. The last payment should be completed before the 31st of December 2026. The largest facility is the recovery and resilience facility. This includes actually all loan elements, and a little bit more than the half is a loan component, and 45% represents the grant component. And the objective of the recovery and resilience facility is the support for the recovery, for strengthening the economic, social, and regional cohesion, the green and the digital transition, competitiveness, and in all the resilience of Europe to tackle similar issues, to be able to more effectively tackle similar crises. It also includes job creation, innovation, and the stabilization of the financial system. Then there are some other budgets under the New Generation EU. The REACT program is supports the economic recovery, job creation, and regional cohesion. The Horizon Europe program is topping up with 5 billion euros of the previous program, the Horizon budget, which is foreseen under the multi-annual financial framework. The InvestEU program, EU program, is a continuation of the former Juncker plan, and it involves it aims to mobilize private investments in Europe. There is a rural development component, which is the topping up of the European Agriculture and Regional Development Fund with 7.5 billion. Then there is a new fund, the Just Transition Fund, which has several priorities, supporting productive investments, clean energies, environmental rehabilitation, and this is the budget which will include the reconversion of the coal. Sorry, not the reconversion, the rehabilitation of coal mining areas and the phasing out of the coal-fired power plants. I think looking at our consortium, that would be the most relevant. It would be to our German and our Polish colleagues. And for unpredicted natural disasters and health crisis, there is another budget, which I think it's not 0.9, it's 1.9 billion. Sorry for this mistake.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, last slide. The funding under the Recovery and Resilience Facility are at the moment maximum windows. As said, there is a grant component and a loan component. The preliminary provision maximum grant provisions per country are included in this table. As far as the loan component is concerned, the member states they decide on their own whether they access the loan component or not, and provisionally 70% of the grant component is agreed, and there is a reserve for the remaining 30%. Needless to say that this budgetary breakdown exists for all 27 member states, and I also just picked the countries which are partnering in our Prospect 2030 project. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. This was a very optimistic presentation for Poland, so thank you very much.
But this has been agreed, so
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. If there's no questions for Károly, I would like to give a floor to our hosts and our organizer of this event, Silvio De Nigris, to talk about energy performing contracting for public buildings in Piemonte Region.
Yes, thank you very much. So I was allowed to present, so I'll try to share the screen, which I think you see now on the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so we saw, thanks to the current presentation, that a lot of money will be available in the next years for energy efficiency and renewables. So I think the challenge for us as public authorities, as energy agencies, is to build up project pipelines to put on the market and to get this to make the best use of all the money that are available. So what I'm presenting now is an approach that we have been implementing in the recent years in Piemonte region, trying to set up some investment using energy performance contract, which needs financial innovation, engineering innovation, and also administrative innovation. And I don't know how much you are familiar with the energy performance contract concept, so I will really start from scratch, but very quickly. I would say that in a standard procedure, if we have to invest in energy efficiency renovation of a building, we have several stakeholders on the ground. We have public administration, we have construction companies, banks, we have some grants, incentives available, and we have the building. So in the standard procedure, what usually happens is that we have the public administration that goes on the market trying to pick up available incentives, grants, and loans from banks. And then we have a selection of investment provider that makes the investments that implement the renovation works, and then energy savings and money savings from the renovation goes back to the public administration. This is the standard procedure, very roughly, I would say. But in energy performance contract, we have the same, let's say, stakeholders on the ground, but the concept is rather different. We have public administration that is to select an ESCO and energy service company that is responsible to get the money from the market and the incentives also, then implement some renovation works on the building and is paid on the basis of the energy savings. So in the APC concept, we have a different stakeholder, which is in the center, which is the ESCO, the energy service company. And if we look at the definition of the energy performance contract, we say that this is a mechanism for organizing the energy efficiency financing, and the APC involves energy service company which provide various services such as finance and guaranteed energy savings. And what is important is that the remuneration of the ESCO depends on the achievement of the guaranteed savings. So what is really important to be clarified is that when we go for the APC, we should take care of the allocation of the risks of the investment that should be allocated on the private body, on the ESCO. In this way, the ESCO is entitled to implement the renovation works, taking into account the performance, and the remuneration of the ESCO itself is based on how good they are to achieve the guaranteed savings. In a way, we have a starting phase where we have some energy costs that are paid by the public administration, of course. Then we have a renovation phase where the investments are implemented, and after we have different, let's say, energy costs, which should be lower at least than the starting phase. And then during the energy performance contract duration, we have a part of these savings that are used to pay back the investment costs that are directly paid by the ESCO. And then there should be also some starting savings for the public administration, and after the end of the APC, all the savings go to the public authority. This is the concept. So we have a private body that uses his own money to renovate a building infrastructure, and then it is paid back on the basis of the energy efficiency achievements that is able to implement thanks to the renovation works. And if we look at what could happen during the APC time frame, is that we have historical costs for the public administration, and then after the implementation of the renovation works, we have a different situation where we have still some energy cost to be paid. Then we have, as seen, the investment cost that should go to the ESCO in order to get to be rewarded by the investment already done, and then we have some savings for the public administration. So if we have a scheme, an APC scheme with guaranteed savings, what we see is that we might have two different situations. One in which the ESCO is not able to achieve the performance that has been contractually guaranteed. In this case, we have a loss for the ESCO, which have less money as payback, and so they are not able to pay back the investment they implemented. In this way, I go back to the slide where I say that the risk should be allocated to the private company in a way that if they are good, they get in full their investment costs, and also they get the profit back. But if they are not good enough, the contract generates a loss for them. And this is the situation of underperformance, but we have also a possible situation of overperformance. They are more than good, and they achieve extra profit because they succeed in reducing even more than planned the energy cost. Okay, so it is very important this for the APC, because we move the attention not to the works itself, but to the performance and to the impact that these works generate for the collectivity. So it is very important that every year the performance is measured and certified. So this is a crucial issue in the APC. But also we have to take care of another important consequence that since this approach is more tricky, let me say, we need to put on the market some large investment. We don't need to create an APC for a single building, but we need to pool more than one building together in order to put on the market larger investment. So we need a PDA, I mean a project development assistance body that is able to create the conditions for an APC to be successful on the market. So generally speaking, and simplifying the concept, we should have we should create a bundle of different buildings that can appoint a lead partner, let's say, and this lead partner is giving the proxy to a contracting authority to go for agent procurement for several buildings, several municipalities bundled together, we can say. And why European Union is stressing a lot the need for bundling? We have several reasons for that. First of all, there is the need of streamlined project implementation, so we can combine together low-hanging fruit measures with other investments which are not very profitable. But if we create a good mixtures out of that, maybe we can create the conditions to make larger investments. Then we can also simplify the screening process, so select the most suitable investment to be bundled together. And also we can go for some standardized process, which is for sure a key in the energy efficiency investment. Then also it is important that we can also simplify in a way the decision-making process. If we have a lot of small, medium municipalities, maybe if we create a bundle, they can collectively take a decision, and also they could trust the PDA structure that can, in a way, make decision on their behalf, and this could maybe speed up the process. And also we can say that we can provide expertise that each single municipality doesn't have it on its own, and the PDA structure can provide. And then for sure we have reduced transaction costs, mostly in the procurement phase, but also in the design and in the tendering process, and a better use of available resources, because we can concentrate in a skilled structure the financial and legal and technical expertise that are needed to implement such investments. So just to conclude my presentation, I just provide here a list of projects that's been implemented in Piemonte region in the last years, and most of them followed the bundling schemes. And as you can see, we had some successful implementation, but also some failures that happens when we try to reduce a little bit the size of an amount of investments in order to create smaller bundles that could be managed in an easier way. But of course, we understood that there is a minimum size of investment that should be put in the market to be successful. I want to leave this information at the end, that with these schemes we have been able to create a very interesting leverage factor, which is roughly 15, it could be also higher. This means that for every euro grants that we received to set up this project, we were able to launch 15 euro of investment. So this is a great achievement, and this is what European Union calls when they say that public money are not enough to achieve the challenging goals that we have in front of us for energy efficiency, climate, and energy transition. And these are just this is one of the examples that I provided in the table. So it was the renovation of 18 buildings belonging to municipalities of the hinterland of Torino's capital city. So this is where small, medium-sized municipalities. We signed an APC contract for 13 years, and we achieved the guaranteed saving of 60% of the baseline consumptions, and I have to say that this contract is under implementation. Now we are in the second year of the maintenance period, or the phase 2 of the APC, and we can say that the guaranteed saving has been achieved every year so far. So all municipalities are happy with that, and also the ESCO is happy because it's getting money out of this initiative. So this is the end of my presentation. I think I have to leave the floor to Żaneta, that will complement my presentation with other financial tools. So I'm happy to give the floor to Żaneta.
So much. I would like to present a short presentation about our Mazovian tool that is also very popular recently. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
It's called Energy Loan, and it's using money returned from loans granted under Jessica and Jeremy that we combined a few years ago, and all money returned now to Energy Loan and are reused by our regions, our local governments unit, regional government unit, to reuse this tool and try another, I believe, exciting financial instrument. It is stricter for local governments units and micro and small and medium-sized enterprises located only in Mazovian voivodeship, because it's strictly for our region. That was the one of the idea for the return money to be reused. This loan is only for improvement of energy efficiency. So it's very interesting idea to have, in particular for specific project as thermal modernization of buildings, modernization of the power system supply, energy management in cities, installation of renewables, improving energy efficiency, changing heat supplies, modernization and replacement of lighting. So as you see, this list goes on, and this tool can be used in all the sector of energy efficiency. The value of the loan ranges from 2,000 euros and till approximately 2.5 million euros. The size of this is in Polish vacancy, so I tried to change it to the euros rate so you can relate to this. And the interest rate is very interesting because it's on more favorable condition than on the market. It is based on a European Commission base rate applicable on the date of the loan agreement. So it's a very favorable conditions for applicants to join. Mazovia Energy Agency is responsible for evaluation of the application. So it's our responsibility is to check all the energy factors and all the documentations, and if it's correct, if it's not, if it's okay with our standards. The maximum term of the loan agreement may not exceed 20 years. And the grace period in repayment of the principal amount of the loan may be up to 1 year after the completion of the investment. Right now, we have almost 5 application already evaluated. One of them is going very strong, and the rest is only on the beginnings period, so I cannot give you some specific, but it's a very interesting idea for maybe all of you, and best practice to maybe import in your regions from our side. So thank you so much for giving me the floor, Silvia.
It was a pleasure for me.
If there's any questions from all of you, please let me know. If not, we will talk about another very interesting tool that is very new in the market, but very, very popular. The EUCF, European City Facility Instrument. And I would like to present Mariangela Luceri from FEDARENE to present this interesting tool.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm Mariangela Luceri from the European City Facility Core Management Team, and I work for the European Federation of Agencies and Regions for the Energy and Environment. So EUCF is a facility financed under the Horizon 2020 program. It's run by a consortium of 5 organizations led by energy cities and involving FEDARENE, Adelphi, Climate Alliance, and Envirus. And the main scope of the facility is to support local authorities' investments in sustainable energy. In particular, we plan to provide technical, legal, and financial expertise to local authorities. We want to finance the development of more than 200 investment concepts. I'll explain later what they are. And through our national and European webinars and peer learning activities, we want to build the capacities of more than 400 public employees. And also we want to ease the access to both private and public financing instruments for local authorities and to advisory services. So EUCF is managed through 4 call for applications, simultaneously launched in 3 regions that you see here on the screen. So we grouped North and Western countries, Central and Eastern countries, and Southern Europe countries. As I said, we have 4 calls for applications. One was launched, the first one was launched last year, and it closed on the 2nd of October 2020. The second one is currently opened. It opened on the 29th March 2021. And it will close on the 31st May 2021 at 5 p.m. Central Europe time zone. Then the next one will be launched in autumn, and then the last one next spring. With regards to this second call, we have a budget of more than 4 million euro that are planned to finance 69 beneficiaries, so 69 investment concepts. In particular, we are going to select 26 applicants from the Central and East Europe, 24 from the North and West Europe, and 19 from the South Europe. Here, briefly, what happened in the first call. We received more than 250 applications from all the eligible countries, so European Union member states and UK. We selected 30 beneficiaries coming from 14 countries. Just for your information, I added here the list of selected beneficiaries of the first call. And here you can see the sector targeted by their proposals. So back to the second call. What you see on the screen is called city journey. So basically is the path that a city does within EUCF. There is a pre-application phase where EUCF Consortium and our national partners organize European and national webinars to present the call, and where applicants are requested to get familiar with the application process and with the criteria. Then once the call is open, of course, they can submit proposals. If they are selected, they are contacted by the EUCF team to sign the grant agreement. A model of the grant agreement is available on the website for those of you that wants to check it before applying. Once the grant agreement is signed, the beneficiary receives the 70% of the grant and can start the development of the investment concept. They have 1 year to submit the investment concept. Once that the investment concept is validated, then the beneficiary enter in the implementation phase or monitoring phase. So basically, they will have 2 years where they're going to at least try to use the investment concept to access further financing through our guidance and support. So ECF gives 60,000 euro to each beneficiary in the form of lump sum. The beneficiary is free to allocate the grant as he wants. It can be used for human resources of the organizations. It can be subcontracted, given to in-house consultants or organizations, and so on. It is meant to finance the development of the investment concept. That means that it is meant to finance, for example, energy audits, feasibility studies, market analysis, legal analysis, and so on. So what's the investment concept? It's basically a document that serves to translate a project idea into technical and financial terms so that financing institutions can, first of all, understand your project idea and evaluate if it's a sound investment or not. The UCF provides a specific template for the investment concept. It can be developed in national language. So online you find already the national versions of the investment concept. And it shall be noted that it has been developed with the support of financial institutions, in particular the European Investment Bank, some banks and some ESCOs that have validated our template and that are basically ready to receive proposals with it. This is the structure of the investment concept. So it's divided in 5 sections. A first section about the description of the project idea, so objectives, expected impact, and so on. A section dedicated to the stakeholders and the risks connected with their involvement. Then a section dedicated to the analysis of the legal framework the municipality operates in. And a section dedicated to the financial framework. Sorry, but I hear someone speaking and I don't know if they are telling me something or... Can I go on?
I don't think so. You can go on.
Yes, Károly, please mute your microphone.
Thank you. So I was saying the fourth section is addressed to check what's the financial frameworks that the municipalities operate in, and then there is the classic work plan and timeline of activities. So about the application process, it's a very quick application process done entirely online and in English and using the templates provided by the team. It's divided in 2 steps, one eligibility check, very quick with just 5 questions with yes or no answers. These 5 questions are meant to establish whether you are eligible or not. If you pass the first step, you are redirected to the full applications. And if you pass also the second step, so if you are selected, you are contacted for the grant agreement and you can continue with your journey within UCF. If you don't pass one of the 2 steps, you are redirected to the help desk for further counseling. So these are the 5 questions of the eligibility check. Each question refers to a specific criterion of the facility. So first of all, who can apply? The facility is open only to municipalities, local authorities, grouping of municipalities, local authorities, and local public entities aggregating municipalities, local authorities. Now, as you can see, it's quite a long description. So whenever you hear me talking about municipalities or local authorities, please notice that I'm referring to this whole group. The applicant must be based in one of the European Union member states, in UK, or in the EEA countries of Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein. The applicant must have a politically approved action plan with at least 2020 targets. It can be a CAP or CCAP developed under the Covenant of Mayors framework or another plan or another similar plan. They shall prove political commitment to the proposal, which means that the mayor shall sign a letter of support, and they have to commit to the 2 years monitoring period, so basically to the implementation phase that we saw earlier. Small and medium-sized municipalities are highly encouraged to participate in a group. Both formal, temporary, informal groups are accepted. In order to apply, they need to select a lead applicant, so basically a municipality that will submit the proposal, will sign the grant agreement, receive the budget, and so on. The group can apply either with the action plan of the lead applicant or with a joint action plan if available. Local public entities aggregating municipalities, local authorities is something new that was introduced for the second call. In order to be eligible, they must comply with all the 3 bullet points that you see in the blue square, so the first box. So basically, they have to be recognized by the national government as local authorities. They shall be below provincial level, so regions and provinces, counties, they are not eligible. They must be composed only by municipalities, local authorities, and they have to have a specific political and administrative structure. They must have an action plan that covers the whole territory that they administer, and they're not able to apply as group. Once passed the eligibility check, applicants are redirected, as I say, to the online application form. It's divided in 3 sections that we will see later on, and must be submitted together with the 6 annexes that you see here on the right. Apart from the Annex 8.1, which is the actual action plan, all the other annexes and the application form shall be drafted in English, and the annexes, you shall use the templates available on the EUCF website, so the templates provided by the facility. What are these annexes? The first one is basically a summary of your action plan, just to understand if it's actually an action plan, and that is 2020 targets at least. The letter of support of the mayor that I mentioned earlier, a self-declaration to understand if you are actually eligible for the facility, and then 2 technical annexes, very important, that serve to understand how you calculated the energy savings or energy generated by renewable energy sources, and the size of investment of your project. We have video tutorials on how to fill in this file, and please do not add only the totals, because otherwise the evaluator cannot understand how you reach that amount. These are the 3 sections of the application form. There is a first section dedicated to the identification of the applicant, so name of the organization and contact details. The second section is dedicated to how you're going to use the grant, so the activities that you intend to develop, how you're going to engage the stakeholders, and the governance structure behind the organization. So basically, this is very important for groupings to understand how they will cooperate to each other. Then the third section is dedicated on how you're going to use the investment concept once it is developed. So what are the expected impacts and investment size of your project, and what's the potential for replication, and so on. Okay. The evaluation process is also divided in 2 steps. There is a first step that is the document check. So we check that you submitted the proposal with all the annexes, that you use the templates, and so on. If you pass this step, your proposal is evaluated, and either you are selected or not selected, you receive a feedback report. In order to be eligible for the grant, each criterion that you see on the right box must have a score of at least 3 out of 5 points. Even here, the full application is divided in, the full evaluation is divided in 2 parts. The investment size and energy savings correspond to the 60% of the overall score of the evaluation. They are both assessed in a quantitative way. Basically, the amount of your investment size and energy savings is compared to the amounts of other applications received in your region, but also in a qualitative way, meaning that they also serve to assess the ambition of your proposal. So they are compared, for example, with your local context, with your population and the state of art of your country. The other 3 points instead correspond to the 40% of the overall application and are evaluated in a qualitative way. So they are the governance structure, stakeholder engagement, and alignment with the EUCF objectives. EUCF has developed a lot of supporting tools. The most important ones are the guidelines for applicants and the FAQs that I highly suggest you to check before applying. We also developed video tutorials, as I mentioned, investment concept templates, success stories, and so on. An important supporting tools is the central help desk that can be reached either through the website contact page, or if you are already registered in the platform, directly through the platform. EUCF is also supported by 2 organizations in each eligible country. In particular, we have country experts that are either individual or organizations with a long experience in sustainable energy and financing. They act as a national help desk, which means that they provide answers in national languages, basically. And they guide the applicants from the very beginning of the application process until the monitoring phase. National networks instead are mainly associations of local authorities, and they are involved for promotion and organizations of webinars or info sessions on the facility at national level. Finally, apart from the financial support, EUCF also provides peer learning activities. We will organize a classic peer learning workshop where beneficiaries will present the success stories of how they developed the investment concept and how they used the investment concepts, or how they access it for their financing. We will also group the beneficiaries in the so-called community of practices. So basically, communities targeted to a specific technology or sector that the projects are based on. This community of practice will also involve a pool of experts. And then I think the most important activity here is the matchmaking events. As mentioned, EUCF has already engaged several financial institutions at European level and also private institutions. Beneficiaries will have the opportunity to meet financial institutions operating in their territory and present the investment concepts or their proposals in order to get further financing. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Maybe I take the opportunity to provide a question to Mariangela. Thank you very much for being here. And may I ask you to go to the results slides of the previous call, of the first call? If you can share again. Sorry.
Yes, sorry, because I closed the PowerPoint by mistake. So just give me one moment.
You were too fast.
Yes, I'm sorry. I could not find the WebEx anymore, so I closed everything.
Okay. In any case, I anticipate the question while you are checking the slide, just to have at glance the situation in Europe. So how important is for you the geographical coverage of the project you're going to fund? I mean, are you looking for new areas before you finance or select new projects, or you are also available to finance new projects in the same area that have been supported in the first call?
We only divide the applicants according to their region. So Northwest countries, Central East Europe country, and then South Europe countries. So we do not check if the beneficiaries are basically neighbors. We don't care about that. It could be that, for example, Torino is selected and other municipalities in the province of Torino are selected too. Can you see again my presentation?
Yeah. So it was just a way to see that. So it's not a problem to have more projects in Italy, for example, since I'm from Italy, and no problem to have from the same regions as that has been financed in the first call. This is just an information that we want to provide to our municipalities to have a new try, since we have been successful in the first round.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
For example, if you see Netherlands is a very small country, but we have 4 applicants from there. It's just a matter of on the score that you received in the final evaluation. So the highest the score, then more chances you have to be selected, regardless what your neighbors do.
Okay, very good. So, and I have another question. It is more in general about, I mean, the evaluation of the EUCF from the Commission. I mean, this is a very innovative tool. So I'm wondering about the follow-up of this. Will you be assessed on the basis of how many of these investment concepts have been implemented in reality at the end? And okay, what are your KPIs to report to the Commission?
Yes, of
in order
course,
to demonstrate the
yeah.
added value of this tool?
I should say that for the time being, the European Commission is very happy with us. We reached great results with the first call. We were not expecting so many applications received. I remember I received more than 257 applications for newborn facilities. If you consider the Horizon 2020, they received 350 applications, if I'm not wrong. But the budget there was much more higher. So in terms of our KPIs, we are quite okay. The European Commission's already showed interest in refinancing the facility. Of course, we shall wait to see what happened, at least with the first beneficiaries, if actually the investment concept is easy to develop, and if actually they will find then financing afterwards. So yes, of course, we shall wait for that, but we are quite positive, honestly.
Okay, thank you very much. And I encourage the other attendants to participant persons to ask. They have the opportunity here. I think you are attending several webinars in these days, presenting the call open. So I don't know if anyone wants to jump in with a question.
Maybe it would be nice to see the slide with actual projects. What types of were realized?
You mean this one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So
can you just introduce yourself? Say who you are representing and where are you from? I know you very well, but maybe the others don't.
Ah, yes. Sorry. This is Matjaž Grmek from Regional Development Agency of Ljubljana Urban Region.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, so regarding the targeted sectors, the facility is open to every project related to sustainable energy. The only limit that we have is that they must be compliant with the lending policies of the European Investment Bank. So basically, increase of fossil fuel is of course not accepted. Then the first call was a bit, let's say, applicants focused on buildings. As you can see, you have 19% of building integrated renewables, then innovative infrastructure, then public building, residential buildings, and so on. Because it was not clear that the field that I mentioned earlier, energy savings, was also including energy generated by renewable energy sources. So of course, energy savings are much more easier to calculate for buildings. Also here, the proposals can be addressed to more than one sector, of course. So in most cases, we had, for example, building integrated renewables merged with public buildings and so on.
And is this integration option an added value?
The sector is not evaluated. It's not part of the evaluation. It's just for statistical purposes. So we don't really, we are not interested in what
you don't really care.
No.
Okay. Any other questions?
anybody else? I have one. Will you also monitor financing of this investments? For example, if they got financing, will you monitor how they, what kind of financing tool will they use to financing their concepts?
You mean during the implementation phase?
Yes.
Yes, of course. We will monitor them for 2 years. Very light monitoring, I shall say. We only request a report once a year, and then if they need support, they can of course contact us, and we can redirect them to the right financial institutions. One thing is important, that they should already identify potential investors in the financial analysis of the investment concept. So in any case, they should have already identified the bank or financing institutions they are going to propose the investment. But they're not obliged to find financing. I mean, they are requested to try to get further financing, but of course, we cannot oblige them to.
Are there any more questions? Okay, thank you so much, Mariangela, for your very interesting presentation. And right now we will have a success story, from Piemonte Region on this instrument. So I give the floor to Stefano Dotta from Envipark to present their concept.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I try to share my screen. Okay.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, perfect. So I would like to present one of the first investment project that was were founded by EUCF, First Call. And so I'm work for Environment Park. This is technological park for environment that is settled in Torino. And we worked with the municipality of Pinerolo because we provide to them energy management service that started 2 years ago. So during this activity, we support the municipality of Pinerolo and in the submission of this proposal to the first call of EUCF. And so the idea, the investment project is led by the municipality of Pinerolo, but it is a grouping of 3 municipalities. The main is Pinerolo, of course, and there are other 2 municipalities that totally sum about around of 45,000 of inhabitants. And the municipality of Pinerolo has carried out SECAP in last year, and also have a sustainable urban mobility plan. And the other 2 municipalities, and they had a SEAP that was carried out 5 years ago. And all the 3 municipalities are part of the first Italian oil-free sort of agreement between municipality in order to implement in their territory policy, activity, action in order to reduce the use of non-renewable fuel. And so this is a territory where there are a lot of activity and action in order to reduce the energy efficiency, improve the renewable energy plant, etc., etc. So the idea of the investment project that was submitted is to define an investment concept on a mix of different action. in order to address all the assets of this municipality. Mainly is on the field of energy efficiency in public building and street lighting. So the municipality of Pinerolo have is the owner of 38 public building, and None is another, the second main municipality in the group, is the owner of 10 buildings. And the idea is to realize this energy efficiency measure, mobilizing private investment through the implementation of energy performance contract, thanks to a bundling approach in order to launch one tender, putting together all the building owned by these two municipalities. Then we have also the idea to define also part of the investment concept in order to make more efficient the street lighting of the municipality of None. But we also work also on the renewable energy sources. And we want to understand better how to implement new installation of PV system on the roof of the public buildings, and also the installation of hydroelectric power plant in the aqueduct grid in the municipality of Pomaretto. And also we would like also to develop part of the investment concept in order to define the investment necessary to replace the public vehicle of the three municipality, and to improve the use of electric vehicle in the territory with a new installation of electric charging station and grids on this territory. So the expected impact of the investment project is around of 9.5 gigawatt hour for years. Is the sum of energy saving and renewable energy generation. And for do that, we estimate our investment cost around of 14 million of euro to implement all the measure, the plant, and the investment for do all this activity. In our investment project, we propose to use the EUCF grant in order to realize a set of different technical activity. So we're starting by the ongoing activity and directly by the municipality of Pinerolo. Because thanks to this energy management service that we provide to the municipality of Pinerolo, we are able to have a lot of information and data according to thanks to the monitoring of the energy consumption, of the renewable energy production, and we also monitoring the operation and maintenance service and all the costs related to energy and operation and maintenance of all the assets of these three municipalities. But we also need to improve this knowledge, and for do that, thanks to the EUCF grant, the municipalities of the group will be able to implement also energy audit of public building and street lighting in order to define the energy saving potential, energy efficiency measure, and also the potential of new renewable energy production. Also, economic analysis will be defined. Will be carried out in order to define in more detail the amount of investment, possible subsidy, revenue, and also to calculate the economic indicator in order to define the profitability of an energy performance contract. And also the duration of EPC, the value of the fee, economic saving, that are all parameters that could be useful in order to define the condition of an EPC procedure. Also legal analysis are foreseen, and in order to define the most effective public procurement procedure in order to implement EPC and select the ESCO. And a set of meeting will be carried out during these 12 months in order to meet the market operator, in order to understand the interest of the market for this operation, also the citizen, with the aim to define investment in energy efficiency useful for improve the functionality of the public service. And also the idea is to understand if it's possible to implement energy community in these 3 municipalities related with the other investment. And also we want to realize a meeting with the bank and the local financing institution. The governance of this activity is, so I said before, is led by the municipality of Pinerolo, that is the main city of the 3, and they have a public work sector with 3 experts. One of them will be the coordinator of this activity, and he will coordinate also a working group with the coordinator, the energy manager, internal and external expert paid with the EUCF grant. And this working group will be supported also by the Piemonte region, that as Silvio said before, they have a very well experienced on in the field of energy performance contract, thanks to previous European project like Stepping or 2020 Together. And this working group carry out all the energy audit, technical activity, energy audit, economic analysis, legal analysis, and a stakeholder meeting. And this working group report is its activity to other 2 committee, a technical committee with the technical expert that come from the 3 municipality, and advisory committee with is composed by the 3 mayors of the 3 municipality. So the idea is that this experience could have a really big replication and upscaling, because the Pinerolo city is the main town in a homogeneous area that is in green, is a part of the territory of the metropolitan city of Turin, and the Pinerolo lead, let me say, this part of the territory. And in this territory that is composed by 45 municipalities, and 28 of them are part of the oil-free zone, and 6 are part of a territorial energy community that was created 1 year ago, thanks to the support of Piemonte region. And so the idea, I would say before, is to mobilize the investment thanks to the use of energy performance contract. And all the municipalities also have experience in using public investment. ERDF, for example, fund managed by Piemonte region, or of other public sources that come from the national state. And they have experience also in PPP, in the field of street lighting, for example, the city of Pinerolo, and of course the PDA service that are provided by the Piemonte region in a previous project. It could be an experience that could be also useful for this activity. And at this time, the grant agreement was signed by the municipality of Pinerolo, and actually the municipality of Pinerolo are selecting the expert, external expert, and in order to start with the technical activity from the next month. This is all for me, and thanks for attention.
Now I would like to give a floor to all of you, actually, in our interactive session. We have here representatives from all countries, and I hope we can all exchange some knowledge and exchange some few words about financing energy efficiency and how it looks in our countries. So we presented some polls for you. One of the questions that Silvio, I hope you can share with participants. Our main question for you is how looks the structure of financing energy efficiency in your countries? Is it more directed into private or public financing? If you could take a few minutes to answer this question, and we can maybe discuss the results together.
Yes, please. I think all of you are seeing these polls on the screen, so you're invited to provide your answer. Only a few of you already did it, but most of you are doing it. So
just a small warm-up for you to join our discussion.
Please. Okay, only half of you voted. So it's an easy question just to warm you up. And in a few seconds, I'm going to close the poll. Okay, very good. So the remaining 10 seconds, if I may.
let's make a countdown.
Yeah, no. Okay. So I'm closing it, and okay, I don't know what happened.
Did you lose all the statistics?
Okay, yeah, it's closing time, and soon we are going to have a look at the results. Okay.
Making the suspension.
Yes, this is the results, I think, and I hope you can see it. So most of us is based on public grants is obvious. I think this is common in most of the countries, even though there is the call for going to private financing even more. So we have a new poll. Okay, so let's open a new one, which is addressed more to private financing, so just to invite you to answer what is the most promising or the most used effective tool that you can see in your country. And we have selected energy performance contract, leasing, crowdfunding, and others, just to give voices also to other options. I think that crowdfunding is very popular in some countries in Europe, but for example, it is not very much in Italy or in the south of
Well, We have very big difficulties with crowdfunding because the legislation for crowdfunding is very tricky. So I believe in some countries it's the same situation.
Okay, so only a few seconds more for voting. If you want to participate to this poll, and then we maybe can discuss a little bit. I closed the poll, so you have, I'm closing it. You only have 15 seconds if you want to participate. Okay. Thanks for participating, and we are having a look at the results. I guess you can see it. So energy performance contract was the most voted option. So Żaneta, do you want to lead the following discussion just for
Yes,
minutes
of course.
20?
I just have a question for any participant who answer other in this question, in this poll. Could you maybe say what kind of financial instrument did you have in mind? If you don't mind showing your face or showing your voice.
Yeah, hello, here is Raphael Bramreiter from Innovation Center of White from Austria. And I've chosen other because none of them is really the right option for me. So there is no specific instrument I'm thinking about.
Could you give us a few comments why EPC is not very popular in Austria, maybe?
Yeah, I think in Austria, in general, there is not much yeah, none of them is really popular in Austria. I don't know any of these solutions, especially in white, but it's not really my topic I'm working on. So
yes, I understand. In Polish case, we have a very big difficulties with this EPC and, for example, Elena with the municipalities in Poland because they need some support from, for example, regional energy agencies to move them with this process because they all think that this process is very difficult and contains a lot of documentations. So that may be the issue, maybe also in Austria. Right now, I would like to ask all of you if you have any case studies or projects that you think of, or maybe EU projects that, in your opinion, smoothly combine using public and private funding together. Do any of you maybe have a project like this or initiatives like this? If not, I believe the EUCF is project like this. In my opinion, I don't know if you agree, if Mariangela agree for this, because as I understand correctly, you can combine financing instruments. So you can get financing for documentation of your project from EUCF, and then go on with, for example, Elena on the further development of your project. Is it that right, Mariangela?
Yes, indeed. And also, as it is a lump sum of only 60,000, municipalities that need more money, they can associate EUCF grant with other financing opportunities, even private ones, for the development of the master concept.
That's a very good news. We also have this project that called EFIX. I don't know, it's Horizon 2020 financing project. I don't know if some of you maybe heard about it, but it combines 3 financial instruments, leasing, EPC, and crowdfunding, and bring together almost 12 countries from EU and also Georgia and Armenia. But our idea for this project is to combine some projects, some partners together. So, for example, Croatia and Poland is working together on EPC because the structure is similar, and Czech and Austria work together with crowdfunding, and Georgia and Armenia work together on leasing. So that's our idea for initiatives that can combine some financing instruments, in this case only private, and have together all countries from all over Europe. Do any of you maybe have other ideas for this or suggestions or EU project that you cooperate?
Well, Żaneta,
Yeah.
it's Károly. I think the green energy investment facility of the EBRD, which was, I think now it's expiring in this part of Europe, under which, for instance, the POLSEP facility was financed. I think it was quite a successful initiative. Basically, a loan was provided by EBRD and a grant component by the European budget. Thank you. And it's operated in several countries. In Bulgaria, it was particularly successful in the Western Balkans, even in Croatia. So I think it was quite a successful effort.
Very interesting, actually. I didn't hear about it so much.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, go, please.
Mateusz Grmek from Ljubljana again. We have actually quite a good example in Ljubljana about combining these funds. But it's not a regional project. It's from city of Ljubljana. They are renovating some 75 public buildings altogether, and the first phase was done in 48 buildings, and I believe it was something like 15 million euro, and this was combined with Elena that mentioned Żaneta before. And it was one of the most successful projects in this regard with ESCOs in EU.
Yeah, but was it just related to Ljubljana city, capital city, or was it involving other regions or cities in Slovenia?
This project involved only Ljubljana, but Elena was applied also in other municipalities.
Yeah, I was aware of big projects of Ljubljana of Elena projects in Slovenia. So according to what you're aware of, these can be considered successful projects.
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah, and how far the renovation was? I mean, was it a deep renovation or it was mainly related to heating system? If at least if you know details.
To my knowledge, they were different, but majority were deep renovations in energy sense, so to say.
Yeah. Very good, very good. And okay, my last question about this, because I'm curious. What do you know? Which is the ESCO involved? Was it a Slovenian ESCO or?
Yes, it was Slovenian ESCO. Yes,
Okay.
It was Petrol, which is a big energy company in Slovenia, and that's doing most of these ESCO projects in Slovenia. Because they have enough money to do it. We have a problem with financing, because smaller companies
They don't have access.
Yeah, they don't have access to the financing to do such projects.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to join the discussion, but I was curious also to hear, if I may, Żaneta, from Károly or someone from Hungary, if they can just say a few words, if they are aware of course, about the EUCF project that was financed in Hungary. If I'm not mistaken, there was one successful project also in their country.
Well, in Hungary, there are, I think, 4 successful projects.
Okay.
And I know the details of 2 projects. One is Hódmezővásárhely, which is a small city, and there a city-wide energy concept is being prepared. There is already geothermal-based energy generation for building heating. There is a public bath, and this is what the city intends to further develop and form it into a project, and they are seeking for as a next step for LNR systems. The other one is Mórahalom, where geothermal risk sharing fund is the design of geothermal risk sharing fund is anticipated. Here the key issue is that the development of the thermal wells and the injection wells cannot be interpreted by financial institutions. I mean, the risks cannot be interpreted by financial institutions, so there is no financial institution that or bank that would be interested in, and this risk-sharing fund would take on the costs of the unsuccessful drillings. Unsuccessful means at first place the geologic, the natural failure, and secondly the technical failure, the drilling technique. And here the specific issue is that there is for the, as it was mentioned, for the business, for the investment concept, there is a template, and we are a little bit suffering how to how to harmonize the project with the template, which is at present seems to me very much directed towards concrete projects, and not a financial instrument. Thank you very much.
Okay. And I also have a general comment. Maybe I can address this remark, if I may, to Mariangela Luceri from FEDARENE. If I see what the European Commission did with the financing, they are investing a lot on this, and they are stressing this as a top priority. But most of the actions they are implementing are based on, let's say, financing country-specific projects. I mean, they are financing projects with ELENA or with the PDA measures in Italy, in France, in each country. Also, EUCF is country-specific tool. I mean,
well, no, EUCF is not country-specific. Municipalities can join forces between countries in the same region.
Okay, well, in the same region, but
yes.
Also at transnational level? Is it,
at transnational level, the same EUCF region. So, for example, Italy can join forces with Spain, Portugal, Malta, Cyprus, and Greece, but not with France. And so.
Yeah, of course. But do you see, okay, besides EUCF, is there a space for transnational cooperation in this field, or differences at country level are still too much, and maybe it is better if we deal with it country by country, because we have different conditions. Or now it's time for transnational and joint projects on this field too.
Well, of course, I cannot talk on behalf of the European Commission, but for example, what we are seeing with the Covenant of Mayors, countries in any case are somehow joining forces, especially countries that share borders, so municipalities that are within the borders and therefore have more or less same problems, same challenges, and so on. There is an increased interest, at least from local side, to join forces with other countries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is interesting.
If I may ask Mariangela also a question, I was wondering, because in Poland, CCAP's developments are not so popular. We have this low carbon emission plans, but we do not have municipalities joining Covenant of Mayors and develop these plans according to the specification of Covenant of Mayors. Do you think EUCF will trigger this to have more municipalities, more regions joining these initiatives? Is it also your goal here?
It should be the way
You
around.
mean Poland joining UCF?
I'm sorry?
You mean Poland joining UCF or Poland joining COMO? Sorry.
No, I mean this development of CCAPs, because it's not very popular in Poland, for example. Do you believe your initiatives will trigger more of the municipalities joining this initiative?
Well, UCF as such, no, I don't believe so, because in any case, they must have already an action plan to participate, and we also accept action plans developed with another methodology. In fact, we do have beneficiaries from Poland, for example, in the first call. I think Covenant of Mayors is actually working a lot on this, and for example, one of the main issues right now is that well, first of all, I also work for the Covenant of Mayors, that's why I'm talking on their behalf. Right now, we impose a certain target, which is 40% by 2030, reduction of CO2 emissions by 2030. And that can be quite a challenge for some countries, I suppose including Poland, but we will soon launch our new commitments, actually next week on the 21st of April. And basically we will be more inclusive, and we hope that the fact that we are not imposing an European target so advanced, but we are targeting each country with their specific challenges, and of course on the basis of their national targets, we hope that this could increase our uptake in these countries, and also support development of action plans according to our methodology in these countries.
Yes, actually, I know that we have in Poland 2 success projects. One of them is pretty local, so I would like to give a few words to you about it. Maybe you can get some inspiration from this. It's from Municipality Piaseczno, and they are building. They want to build a eco heat energy power station in their city, in their municipalities. I'm sorry, to cover more all buildings. So it's a very big project, and they got financing also from the EUCF. So thank you very much. Okay, if there's no more addition to this topic of discussion, my next question is, how is COVID situation influencing financing energy efficiency in your countries? For example, how is your country National Recovery Fund status when it comes to energy topic? For example, in Poland, the largest part of National Recovery Fund is to fund investment related to green energy and also energy efficiency. And the main focus is the offshore wind energy sector. And that's I believe the most money should go on this sector, but also supporting energy communities. Do you have any comments on how your countries are going through this and how it's gonna affect financing energy efficiency? Maybe some words from Italy. Sergio, maybe some words from your part. That maybe Silvio could have a few words.
Yes, I can say. Well, of course, the plan is not finalized in the final draft, but I think a lot of attention will be paid, as you said, in energy efficiency. But I think we will stick more in the building sector, where most of the energy consumption are, and I think this will be pretty much linked to the renovation wave. And actually nowadays there are some very important measures already implemented that I think will be prolonged with thanks to the recovery funds. Yeah, and I think that in the future a lot of money will be there for energy efficiency, and maybe this should need an extra effort in the governance in order not to waste this challenge that we have in front of us. At least maybe other countries can say a few words about it.
Károly, Veronica, do you have a few words about Hungarian national recovery funds?
The recovery plan is not yet approved. But the most practical disadvantage of the situation is that it limits the communication, and it limits making new contacts, limits financial institutions to contact clients. The second issue is, the third issue is that what we are heavily focusing on is the energy obligation scheme, the legislation for the energy saving obligation scheme. In terms of working with the utility companies, the question is that whether the residential sector, how the residential sector is considered by the utility companies. The priority order is very clear: large companies, public buildings, small and medium-sized enterprises, and residential buildings are last in the row. And we are also contemplating utility companies working together with ESCO companies on the implementation side. This is where we stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthias, maybe some words from Slovenia. Do you know any updates on your national recovery funds?
Yes. Well, the first notions were not very good. Apparently, our plan was worst in this regard in Europe, as it focused on roads, for example, infrastructure as such, and not that much in greening. I'm afraid I don't know what it's now, because there were some changes made, but I don't know what is the final result. As the preparing of the plan was not part of public debate, it was concealed within the government. So they just published a draft, and now they are changing again. I'm afraid I can't say much more. But it is not
optimistic.
Yeah, it is a missed opportunity, I would say, because if we go back to the slide with the funds, there is the biggest sum available. So yeah.
Do you think public can influence the government to make some adjustments?
For sure, there were some opinion expressed on television, in newspapers, and so on. So this had some effect. I'm quite positive, but I don't know to what extent. For example, we would really need to modernize the railways, but doesn't seem to be the case.
The most important.
Actually, you don't have railways in Slovenia, haven't you?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's well, but we cannot speak too much as Italian in this field. Neither. Okay, I think Żaneta, time is done.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you very much for all this discussion. I believe we did a better job than last time. So you all talk. I hope we all forced you to talk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Silvio and Regione Piemonte, for organizing this session. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation, and I got some questions in my chat box. The presentation will be available for you, so don't worry about this. And I hope to see you on our next session, our next workshop. I hope you can join us, and thank you very much from my side. Have a lovely evening today.